What was your breaking point?
So breaking point for really was when I lost everything.
What do you mean by everything?
So
Everything?
I had a life where I had the power, I had the family, I had my children in my house, nice cars, nice holidays, everything. And then it all just fell apart. I lost my wife and kids. They left. Well, and we broke up.
It was your house and stuff like that?
Well, we had a shared house, so I ended up in a small dingy flat on my own with absolutely nothing, and everything I owned was in a hold all bag. And I realised I didn't own anything. Everything I had was material things. I didn't actually have anything. Yeah. I was done. I was broken. I mean, I was standing in the nightclub, being the tough guy in the front door of the nightclub, and walking into my office, locking the door, and sitting crying. I wouldn't cry in front of you.
Okay.
Because when I was a child, my grandfather, my grandfather was my hero. He was a very tough man, a very strong man, and a fighter. He was a fighter. He was a boxer in the Navy. He'd been in the Royal Navy when he was during the war, and he was a very successful boxer. He won competitions all over the world boxing. And one of the things he told me, and it's the worst piece of advice I was ever given, is that real men don't cry. So as a child, I was told that if you cried, you weren't a man.
Okay.
I never cried. I could stand and take a beating. You wouldn't make me cry. I'd go home and cry, but I wouldn't do it in front of you.
Very stoic.
Yeah. Pride.
Yeah.
Pride. And
is that good? Is that bad?
It's bad.
It's bad?
Bad. Yeah. It's the worst piece. It's the only thing that my grandfather ever told me that I wish he hadn't said, is that real men don't cry. Because now I love a cry. I will cry. I cry watching movies now. It's just how I am.
So you went over the pendulum went over to the other extreme, huh?
Once I found a way out, but I was in this flat, everything was just horrible. Hated everything about it. And then one day I had enough. I got in my car and I went for a drive and I was heading towards Aberdeen, and something in my head just snapped, and I decided that was it. I was done. This was the end. And I saw the lorry coming over the hill, coming towards me. I picked the lorry and I drove towards it. And I was doing about 90 miles an hour, heading for this lorry. And the lorry driver knew what was happening because I was on his side of the road. He starts flashing lights at me, weaving about, and I just followed him. And I was probably 150 yards from death. And my phone rang. And it was my son's primary school to say that he'd been sick. And I looked at it and saw it was a school. And it was like, it's my kids.